Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to LeTip Live. LeTip is an organization of like-minded individuals brought together to help each other's businesses grow and flourish. And today we have a very special treat for you. That is correct. We have our featured member of the month from DNR House of Diamonds. It's Dave Padgett. Just kidding. He's virtual. We're bringing him in live. So we are live. We want to make sure you guys ask questions, comments, and concerns in the comments section for our special guest, Dave. Dave, how are you?
Hey, everybody. How's everyone doing this morning?
We're doing great. We're doing great. How are you?
Fantastic. Ready for a great interview and looking forward to sharing some great information with a lot of great LeTip members out there.
Awesome. Awesome. Great stuff. Well, speaking of LeTip, how did you find LeTip?
You know, it was probably about 11, about 11 years ago. We were starting a business, and I was looking for ways of connecting with other business owners, really multi-purpose. Obviously, I wanted to get the word out, and I was hoping to find ways to make the phone ring like all entrepreneurs and startups are doing. But I also wanted to partner with other business owners, other entrepreneurs, and find out, what mistakes did they make? What could I do to avoid those same mistakes? How could I connect with their circles that they've already connected in? I'm a big believer that when you work with someone or you meet a business owner, you're not just meeting one, you're usually meeting 250 of their friends. You just don't realize it. Bob Berg has a great book called Endless Referrals, and he has a theory. 250 people will show up to your wedding and 250 people will show up to your funeral. So every person that you meet basically has a close circle of about 250 friends. So I was looking for ways to tap into that, but I wanted a professional organization that was organized, properly run, that took networking serious, and LeTip was the perfect answer for what our business was all about.
Awesome. Awesome. How long have you been in LeTip?
Right at about that same period of time. I started about 6 months before we started our business. That's how I knew about LeTip and was kind of sticking my toe in the water to see if it was the right fit for me. Yeah, I would say roughly about 11 years.
Awesome. Great stuff. So you had your journey and now you are the featured member of the month. So we want you all to check out the nice article about Dave in our Communicare. And if you didn't know what Communicare is, it's our LeTip Nationals magazine. And we give you blogs and posts and all great information about great members. So you definitely want to check it out. It's sent to your email once a month. So if you haven't seen it yet, it's probably in your spam folder. So you definitely want to get that out of the spam folder because it's such a useful tool and a lot of useful information about great people. So definitely check out the full article with Dave in this month's LeTip Communicare. So one question I ask everybody, and we got the questions coming in. We got the comments coming in. Stephanie says, "Way to represent Las Vegas, Dave." So I'm guessing Stephanie's a fellow Las Vegas LeTip member. And I do want to remind you guys that we are live. So if you have a question, comment, or concern, you could put it in the comments section and we can answer it live. And you definitely want to ask Dave questions because he's a master jeweler and he knows everything about jewelry, diamonds, and we're going to dive into that as well. So Dave, so you joined LeTip about 11 years ago. Now the feature member of the month. So one question I ask everybody who comes on the show is what LeTip means to them. So what does LeTip mean to you?
Well, again, it means camaraderie. It means business. It means referrals. It's a database of shared minds that I can tap into periodically to get answers to questions that I may not understand. It's a resource from all the different members in the group for me to utilize in my business and even in my personal life, or people that obviously I can refer to other businesses and friends. So for me, it's a wonderful resource for my business. Bluntly, I mean that's really what it comes down to.
Absolutely. So we like to, provide value and information and tips and tricks. So would you have any tips or tricks for like a newer member, someone who just joined LeTip?
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of filled all the seats in our chapter and on our board, and I've
Hmm.
seen a lot of members come on board and be very successful
Hmm.
working within the LaTip environment. And I've seen other members, unfortunately, that didn't quite have the same success. And in many of those cases, it was about time. They were
Hmm.
anxious to start reaping the benefits of referrals, and they didn't necessarily get those referrals right away. And I think they felt maybe in some cases a little frustrated that that didn't happen. So they really
Hmm.
left before they gave it a chance. And we've all heard those sayings, people have to know, like, and trust you. Well, in
Hmm.
my case, when I joined LaTip, I don't really think I made a sale from my LaTip chapter for almost 8 months. Okay, I didn't, and it was primarily
Hmm.
because everybody had a jeweler already. Everybody already had a friend. Everybody already had somebody they trusted, and it took a while for them to get to know me, for them to feel comfortable with what we were doing here in Las Vegas, to ask around to their friends. Anybody ever heard of this guy? Do you know anything about him? I mean, people like to check each other out and find out if it's somebody they want to try. And then once you get someone or maybe a referral and you get some positive feedbacks from that, it starts to get legs and catch, and the rest is history as time goes on. But I do think many members, unfortunately, specifically newer members, just don't quite give it the time that it needs for you to
Hmm.
kind of develop those relationships within the group that are strong enough to start to pull those referrals your way.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I believe relationships is what it's all about, right? So if you're just
Exactly.
going in there looking to take, and
Right.
you're building a house on sand, right? You gotta build relationships. Relationships are the number one thing you should be doing, because then people will earn your trust. You'll earn their trust, and they'll want to do business with you. You gotta take them out to dinner first before you try to take them
Sure.
home.
Well,
So,
I kind of, in my case, it was a little bit easier to give because I kind of think as the jeweler is the tip of the spear. So what
mhm,
happens? Someone's getting engaged. So then they need a house. They may
mhm,
need a banker. They may need a stockbroker. They may need a finance person. They may need a
mhm.
florist. There's so many different opportunities that we get exposed to if we're the first person to sell this young couple a beautiful new ring. And so it's easy for us to really take advantage of the LeTip network, not only in my chapter, but outside of my chapter throughout the country, wherever I can.
Awesome. Great stuff. The questions are starting to come in. So we have one here from Pat. And Pat
Okay.
says, Hi, Dave. Congrats on Feature Member of the Month. What has been the most rewarding part of being in LeTip?
I can truly say it's the friendships that I've developed with other business owners that go well beyond LeTip. Um, there's a number of people that I can think of in the chapter that I obviously consider close personal friends. And I have no doubt that if I needed something above and beyond a referral, I could reach out and that would happen. And likewise, but we have it in our our comments at the end of our meeting that the tip becomes like a family, and it truly does. The
Mhm.
longer you stay within the family, um, you get a core relationship with so many different members. So I think it's the friendships I've developed over the years.
Awesome. Great stuff. So I do want to remind you guys we are live. So if you have a question, comment, or concern, please put it in the comments section. We'll answer it live here today with Dave. So we kind of covered your LeTip journey. Let's cover your professional journey. You're in
Sure.
the jewelry business. How
Mhm.
did you get into the jewelry business? What made you want to get into it? Tell us your story.
Well, I truthfully, I stumbled into it. I actually wanted to get into the Air Force and pursue being a pilot when I was a youngster. And if you go the academy route, sometimes you don't get an appointment. And I happened to be working part time for a I say a large jewelry company now, but I was working for K Jewelers in Central Indiana, part-time
Mhm.
sales while I was in high school. And I was trying to get the appointment through my junior and senior year. That didn't happen. They offered me an opportunity to be an assistant manager after my senior year. I really kind of had my world crushed that I wasn't going to get into an academy. So I started selling full time as an assistant manager in a mall environment. This was what I called before the malling of America. This was back in
Mhm.
1980. Um, and I stayed with Kay for about 22 years, worked my way up from part time up to regional vice president in the Northeast corridor of the United States, supervised about uh, 4 states in the Northeast: New York, New
Mhm.
Jersey, um, and a number of other surrounding smaller states, and really enjoyed it. And I loved it. And one success leads to another success, and you find yourself going down a path that you never thought you would ever go down. And in the
Mhm.
corporate environment, honestly, I did zero networking, none during that period of time. It was a
Mhm.
different marketing strategy altogether. Um, and after about 22 years, I decided to kind of go out on my own and do my own thing. Um, and that's when I discovered LeTip. And I said, this is something I'd never experienced before. I didn't even know networking groups of any kind even existed, other than maybe the Chamber of Commerce. So we were exposed to LeTip and got very, very involved. But during that period of time, uh, I experienced a lot in just general marketing, meaning magazines, newspaper, radio, TV, like all of us have seen. And I have to honestly say the best results I've gotten is one on one with a handshake, looking someone straight in the eye, and they get to know who you are and you know they are. And all of a sudden
Mhm.
you've sold their kids, their spouse, their nephews and nieces, and now you start networking from that point of view. So
Mhm.
that's really kind of the path of where my jewelry career kind of led me and how it ended up at LeTip.
Yeah, and it comes full circle. We're back to talking about relationships again. It's all about having the right relationships.
Yep,
We do marketing here, and people don't want to be sold. So the content that we're helping people make is value add content, and building
right,
those relationships and having that connection. Because if you don't, people don't want to be sold. So
sure.
what is the thing that gets you going? What do you like most about your industry, and what do you get excited about?
Well, you go through phases in your career. Initially, you're trying to climb that ladder and make an
Mhm.
extra buck or move up to the next position. And you feel good about that and you enjoy the challenge of the work that you're doing. But at this point in time, having my business with my business partner, Rich Shaw, we're 50/50 owners of DNR House of Diamonds. He's a 22-year retired Air Force um, professional, but
Mhm.
Rich and I have a theory that we've both been very blessed in our life, and we've been both very lucky to be able to be in a position to have a small business and cater to our clients. But really,
Mhm.
what gets me going is I have a young couple in front of me. Maybe they're somewhere between the ages of 25 and 30. He feels
Mhm.
like he's a deer in headlights because he doesn't know anything about diamonds. He's
Mhm.
worried that, he just wants her to be happy. She's worried that, well, maybe he doesn't have the funds to afford what I really want, or vice versa, or whatever the case may be. And there's this real tightrope that everybody's kind of walking during that appointment, and I love it. I love being able to make everybody relaxed. I love to be able to make both smile. To give them options that they didn't know they really had. Our
Mhm.
concept is a concept that's built on very, very low overhead. So, with my 46 years experience in the business and Rich's 25 years experience, we're able to kind of maneuver for our clients almost like a consultant to help them leverage their dollar and keep the cost low and affordable and deliver first class product. And we do some pretty interesting things here in Las Vegas to make that happen. But that's what
Awesome.
really excites me is when I have a young couple call me, or they send me a text, or he says, hey, she said yes, and he's excited that she said yes and she loved the ring. And then, they come back in together and she tells me how much she loves the ring. It just doesn't get any better than that. That's really what's great about my business. It's always a happy and fun business 90% of the time.
Absolutely. Love it. Great stuff. So we have more questions coming in. Let's get them in here. So Vega asks, hey, Dave, congrats on being the featured member this month. As a professional jeweler, what is an efficient way for one to stay up to date with the latest trends or market demands in the jewelry industry?
That's a really good question. Well, our industry changes, and sometimes it makes small moves, and then other times it makes major moves.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I stay very involved in the trades. We have many professional magazines that cater strictly to our industry. I have a pretty vast network of suppliers, vendors, other retailers that I stay
Mm-hmm.
in contact with all the time. I'm a voracious reader when it comes to any kind of a topic that has anything to do with gold, diamonds, or business trends in general. So that's the way I stay up to date. And then very active with GIA. Rich and I both stay up to date on all the training and the newest technologies and so forth. If you ever have a chance to come to Vegas and visit our office, you see that we have an office environment. It's not a traditional jewelry store. We work by appointment, so our clients come in and meet with us one-on-one. We employ a lot of state-of-the-art technology, 3D CAD CAM software to design rings right in front of the customer's eyes. We have 3D printers in the office where we can 3D print resins, and you can try on that ring that we just designed. Um, I'm a I'm kind of a geek, I guess, to some degree, and I love technology, and I love using technology to stay ahead of what everybody else is doing. So,
Mm-hmm.
the cell phone, this little guy right here, changed our world about 10, 12 years ago. So all the
Yep.
ladies come in today and they got pictures of rings on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, even TikTok. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, I like this part of this ring, and I like this part of this ring, and I like this part of this ring. Hey, can you marry those? And the answer is we absolutely can. We can
Mm-hmm.
create a design that's specific for you. Obviously, we're protective of copyright issues. We can't do everything. Some designs are copyrighted, but
Mm-hmm.
we're pretty successful at finding designs that fit and appeal to the individual. Um, but that I hope that answers that question a little bit. But
Absolutely. That was a great answer.
yeah,
Great
there you
answer.
go.
And the
Yeah.
next question I feel like kind of coincides with that. So the next question is from Brian Hanslin. Brian asks, in such a competitive industry, how do you make sure your jewelry stands out? Like, what are some things that to separate your jewelry from others?
Well, I wrestled with this question for a long, long time, and when we started our concept, I told Rich, I said, I think we've got a concept that can't lose, but we've got one issue: we got to make the phone ring. Okay,
Mm.
if because we don't have a storefront, no one's walking by our store seeing our sign.
Mhm.
People come
Mhm.
to us because they're referred. They see our online presence and they want to come make an
Mhm.
appointment and come see us. But there's only one person I have to make impressed with the piece, and that's the client sitting in front of me. And my
Absolutely.
father was a very, very successful salesman his whole career, and his one
Mhm.
comment that's always stuck to me is, Dave, learn to
Mhm.
listen. Just listen.
Absolutely.
All you need to do is listen to what the client wants and deliver
Mhm.
that, and you're there. So a lot of times
Mhm.
it's that. And I'm also a big believer, and for everyone listening, especially in LeTip, it really is about referrals. You
Mhm.
really need people to go share the word, as I like to say. I like to
Mhm.
think, okay, I'm not creating clients, I'm creating apostles. I need them to go out and share the word and tell everybody about us. And that's the
Mhm.
best exposure you can possibly give your business is other people. And have the attitude no one leaves unhappy, even if it costs you money. Okay. It's
Mhm.
okay. I have one more business philosophy, and that is some companies are so worried about pennies that they're flushing dollars out the back door. Yes, they're
Mhm.
charging for this little thing, this little thing, this little thing, but they may be alienating some clients along the way for those very small advantages where overall you want those referrals to continue to come in. And if you can impress someone or exceed someone's expectations, you're gonna definitely generate additional business for your company.
Absolutely. I feel like we're similar in the sense that, a lot of people, when they think about like growing their business or, getting ROI, right? They think about numbers and like very analytical and business, like thinking about business. But the secret sauce, I feel like, is the relationships and making sure the client is happy and doing everything in your power to help your customer and to do what's best for them. And then, like, karma comes back around. They're excited. They tell their friends about you. Absolutely. Great stuff.
You're either going to have 250 fans or you're going to have 250 people not happy with you. So it's your call.
Like,
How do you want those 250 people to think of you? And that
absolutely.
really is my particular philosophy on it. So
Awesome. If I get 100 people, I think I'll be happy in
there we
life.
go. There we go.
So we got more questions coming in. This is great. Pat asks, what advice would you give a young entrepreneur trying to grow their business?
Well, first off, I'd congratulate them for deciding to do their own business. Okay. The second thing is love what you do. Love it, know it, understand what it is that you're trying to do. And if you really understand it and you really know it and you really love it, then go after it and just figure out a concept that's relative to whatever that is that you're doing that maybe isn't a niche that everyone else isn't already doing. And if you can find a way to do something it may be something a million other companies are doing, but you do it a little bit differently. And that's your unique proposition. And people can tell passion from what I call BS. They can sit down with you very quickly and find out, hey, is this someone I know? Is this someone I trust? Is this someone that, I feel like really has my best interest at heart? And another thing, and this seems little, but in every one of your interactions, just imagine that every person is wearing a little sign. And that little sign says, make me feel important. And if you can make everybody you interact with feel important, you'll see a big difference in being able to build those relationships. And you know what? People want to help you. Everybody wants to help the new guy. Everybody wants to, to be part of a success story. So I just say go after it, but just make sure it's what you love. Don't do something that you're doing just to make a buck or just to try to start a business. You really have to have a passion for what it is that you're trying to do.
Love it. Great stuff. Great stuff. We got another one from Connor. Connor asks, "Thanks, Dave. What do you think the hardest part of owning your business is? What are some things that are difficult?"
Learning what you're not good at, and getting help in those areas. A lot of people, when it comes to the structure, they don't hire a good CPA, okay, or a good bookkeeping system. They don't. Again, you have to spend some money. I coined the word EARF. That's free spelled backwards. I love that word when it comes to finding ways to do things in our business that cost us very little. But there are some things, you need a good business attorney. You need a good CPA. You may need a couple of other things for a business, even a small business, just to make sure you're starting with a good, solid foundation. But you can try to do as much as you possibly can yourself or with your small team. But I would outsource what you're not a pro at and make sure you've got great advice there.
Great. That is great advice. Awesome. Great stuff. So these questions we're getting in, they're kind of more about business aspects, but let's dive in. We want to know what's inside that brain of yours, your expertise, because there's,
Okay.
jewelry is a very confusing industry. You got there's a lot of stuff going on, and we want to get your expertise here. So what are some like the latest trends, maybe technology, tips, tricks, things to look out for if someone's looking for a diamond or a piece of jewelry?
Well, there's a couple things going on right now. In the typical jewelry store that's been around since I was a kid, and we've all seen downtown jewelers, we've all seen mall jewelers, and you basically walk in and you've got 20, 30 display cases full of beautiful jewelry, and a lot of jewelers pursue a credit option where you have time to pay and purchase that way. You have a lot of pieces to pick from. But the goal typically in those environments is for that jeweler to sell the inventory that they have on hand. What's a growing trend right now, and in many businesses, we've all heard of just-in-time delivery, so that you're not dealing with a lot of inventory. You're dealing with things that are there when your clients need it. And in the jewelry industry, our concept is a little bit like that, and many other businesses are starting to see that, where instead of carrying everything, we carry a lot of prototypes. So we carry a lot of silver rings that are plated in platinum with cubic zirconia stones as samples in the shop. So those pieces never get sold. And then we can pull those pieces, and we can pull those rings up on computer and modify that ring to the customer's preference, whatever size stone they would like, whatever type of metal they would prefer, any modifications of that ring we can do on the fly. We can then print a 3D resin of that ring they can try on during the same visit, so they can see if their creation is what they thought it was going to look like. And then we make it for them exactly the way they want it. Because of 3D printing, you're not dealing with a huge expense for custom anymore, because you're not paying a master jeweler to hand carve it or hand make it. You're 3D printing it, which is a much more economical way to create perfection. And a lot of jewelers are now starting down that path. And it's a customized way to take care of the client. And then the industry is starting to wrestle with new technologies in diamonds. We've had mined diamonds for years, diamonds that are born in the earth, and there's tremendous romance with a diamond being created at 170 miles below the surface of the earth, and everything had to go just right for that process to create what we know as beautiful diamonds. But today we're duplicating that process in laboratories in the United States and throughout the world, where we are growing diamonds, creating diamonds in a lab, and they are diamonds. And that's the interesting thing. We've never had an option to a diamond. We've always had simulants or things that were similar to a diamond or kind of looked like a diamond. But today you can buy a man-made or created diamond in a lab that is every bit the same as what Mother Nature produces in the earth. And that's really never been the case until the last 4 to 5 years. Now, they've existed, but there really wasn't a pipeline to the public. And today there is. So it's having ripple effects in our industry. We have people that are very pro new lab grown diamonds, and we have people in our industry that are traditionalists that love the traditional diamonds from the earth. And I think there's definitely room for both. And we spend a lot of time educating our clients on the pluses and the minuses of both. We have a lot of fun doing it. But we're finding that lab grown diamonds are starting to really come on as an interesting item for a lot of people, because they can buy a larger stone, a quality stone, typically at a significantly reduced price.
Awesome. So if we can, don't want to put you on the spot, can we dive in a little deeper? Maybe some pros and cons, or like if I was a newly engaged man looking for a diamond for my wife, and I came to you, what should I do? Should I get the lab grown or should I get the natural? What would be the answer?
Well, I think every person's different. Okay, if you are, let's just say, a younger couple, maybe in your late 20s, early 30s, and wanting to buy a diamond, we're finding many of our clients going towards lab, and I'll give you the reasons that my clients tell me. Okay, they love the price. A 2-carat diamond today, mined from the earth, is, depending upon quality, is probably going to fall somewhere in that $13,000 to $20,000 price range, depending upon grade, and appropriately so. A lab-grown diamond, comparable, similar, maybe even slightly better in grade, you're going to
Mhm.
purchase somewhere in the $5,000 range. So you're
Mhm.
saving 5,000, 10,000 up front buying the lab grown. The issue in the past is many times when you went maybe with a moissanite, which isn't a diamond, that was a
Mhm.
lower price stone. It wasn't a diamond.
Mhm.
Lab grown stones are diamond. They have the same physical, chemical, and optical property of a mine diamond. So a lot of
Mhm.
consumers are making that choice. Now, there's good arguments on both sides of the fence. The
Mhm.
the natural side of the fence is that they hold value longer, that they will appreciate over time, where a lab grown stone will not. Many are fearful that the pricing may even go down. So if you
Mhm.
spend hypothetically 5,000 on it, what's going to happen in 5 years when it's worth only 2,000? Now again,
Mhm.
that's assuming that it goes that way. There's price to
Mhm.
market for everything. There's a cost of production for everything. And in many cases, my clients sometimes will choose, hey, I'd rather save the 5,000 or the 10,000 up front, and I'll take my chances if it goes down a little bit. And then I have other clients that come in that have the means and the ability and an appreciation for what Mother Nature creates, and they're willing to spend 15 to 20,000 for that rare stone from the earth. So, we try not to make those decisions. We just try to advise and try to give a fair representation of what the choices are. And we kind of
Mhm.
let, for lack of a better term, let water seek its own level where the consumer is most happy. But we are finding a large percentage of our clients are moving towards the lab option.
Awesome. Great stuff. Along with this, a new question just came in, kind of is what we're talking about right now.
Okay.
With the current state of the economy, should people invest in diamonds in hopes of seeing a higher ROI? Is that something, to be investing in diamonds or gold? Are these something that you should be looking into with the current state of the economy?
Well, gold is a different conversation. We can talk about that, but let's say just diamonds for a minute, okay?
Okay.
And you'll probably be shocked to hear a diamond guy say this, but if I was looking to invest money, okay, I would
Yeah.
not invest it in a diamond. No, okay.
Okay.
I don't think diamonds are a great investment, in my humble opinion. Will a
Hmm.
mined diamond appreciate over time? Yes, over a
Hmm.
5, 10, 15, 20-year period of time you'll see
Hmm.
appreciation, but probably not at the rate that you would enjoy a
Hmm.
significant advantage. And again, you have to remember the typical consumer is buying at retail, so they're
Hmm.
they're already paying the markup and they're paying the jeweler their profit, and it will take a long time for wholesale to catch up
Hmm.
to retail. So even though
Hmm.
diamonds are appreciating over time, from an investment point of view, humbly, I think there's probably better mutual funds and better options out there, but you'd have to talk to a financial person to get that advice. But from a jeweler, I never recommend consumers to buy diamonds for an investment. I just don't believe it's a good decision.
So, do you think that maybe people have the wrong mindset? So, for example, like you're not purchasing your wedding dress as an investment, it's so you can enjoy it for that day. And it's probably not going to be worth, it's going to go down. It's like a car. As soon as you drive off the lot, it goes down in price, right? So, like you're investing in your happiness. And for, a diamond, it's a long term happiness. For a wedding dress, it's a 1 day happiness. Like you can get the more expensive one that you look amazing in. You can tone it down a notch and look all right, and you can get the cheap one, and it is what it is. Okay, but
Sure.
long story short, do you think, and this is just off the cuff, just by hearing you out, do you think maybe people have the wrong mindset when it comes to investing in like diamonds? It's supposed to be more for you, right? More for your
Yeah, I mean,
happiness.
I sit with lots of couples, and the
Hmm.
the challenge for me is to make sure that I really understand what's going on here. And what's going on is he's trying to give an item to the woman or the man that they love
Hmm.
as a symbol of how they feel about each other. It's not a financial thing other than
Hmm.
they want the other person to love what it is they're buying for them. Okay.
Yeah.
And so traditionally it's not economics. It's do you love it? Does it speak to you? Does
Hmm.
I think you can get great buys on the internet, but there's nothing better than sitting in front of a 3 or 4 or 5 diamonds that are in the criteria of what you're looking at, and actually looking at the diamond and saying, oh my God, this stone is incredible compared to the
Hmm.
others. And that's what I really try to talk about and romance with my clients, as far as, is this your stone? And
Hmm.
there's a place for mind and there's a place for lab. If you're getting into just the clinical aspect of it, yes, a mine diamond will hold value better than a lab grown. On the
Hmm.
flip side, is a lab grown a diamond? And the answer is yes. Are there qualities equal to or even better? Because you have to remember, when you're growing a diamond in a laboratory, you control everything. You control the heat, you control the
Yeah.
pressure, you can avoid a lot of the natural impurities that happen in the earth. And so you're talking about a beautiful diamond if it's a lab stone. And in many cases, I've had clients that I've shown them both, and she says, so for that amount of money, I can get that one? I said, yes, you can. Okay, I want the big one. Okay, so it's personal choice. I mean, it really is. I just think it's important that our jewelers and our industry is really working hard, that jewelers across the country represent both fairly, that there's power in both. And mine diamonds are incredible. They're an absolute miracle of nature. And
Hmm.
you don't have that necessarily in a lab, even though it's grown in a lab and it's the same basic process to get a beautiful diamond. But there is some intrigue in how diamonds are formed in the earth. So I love to explain both, and we sell a lot of both. So it's personal choice.
Awesome, awesome. Uh, is durability a factor at all in this? Like,
Not really. I
stronger,
mean,
weaker?
no, again, the Federal Trade Commission, I think it was 2018, did a lot of investigating into lab grown diamonds, and they came out with the final verdict is that yes, it is a diamond. It has the same physical, chemical, and optical properties as a diamond that is born in the earth. So
Nice.
you're dealing with the same hardness, you're dealing with the same characteristics, basically. So not much difference there, other than you don't have the production price if you're mining, okay, a natural stone, and a
Hmm.
lot of those advantages lead to better pricing at the end of the day. But that's where I think each person should do their own due diligence. We have this beautiful thing called Google, and it works really, really effectively in educating most consumers. And they
Hmm.
can certainly come in, and I'd be happy to tell them all the pluses and minuses and the good and the bad. At the end of the day, we all make decisions every day to purchase items, and we make the decision that's best for us. So, but the diamond industry's never really had to deal with lab grown diamonds before. It's a new entrance into our business. I definitely would refer to it as a market disruptor. It's
Hmm.
impacting how we do business in diamonds, and a lot of people love them, and a lot of people loathe them. So it's a personal choice thing for any individual out there shopping.
Awesome. Great stuff. Do want to remind you guys we are live. So if you have a question, comment, concern, please put it in the comments section. We'll answer it live. I'm talking to you ladies because you probably have all the questions when it deals to jewelry. So definitely fill up the comments section while we have the master jeweler here with us today, Dave. So going along with all this, with the real diamonds, the lab created diamonds, you obviously need someone you can trust and someone who understands the market and can, basically represent you when dealing with these tough decisions. Um, so first and foremost, if you do have any questions, I'm going to pull up your Instagram here. Please contact Dave. I'm sure he'll be happy to answer your questions and talk to you one-on-one. And I do believe you do like Zoom calls, so you can deal with people across the nation. So definitely reach out to Dave. And also, so like, let's just say, someone's looking for a jeweler, what would be some things that someone should to understand the credibility, or in how should someone pick a jeweler or find a jeweler?
Well, I think there's lots of large name jewelers that are out there in the marketplace that we're all familiar with. And I
Mhm.
can honestly say, coming from that world, these are serious companies that take educating their staff very
Mhm.
seriously. They're, in my opinion, a little bit of a different niche than we are.
Mhm.
But you definitely want to, if you're dealing with someone, see if they have any GIA training, which GIA is our, I kind of euphemistically refer to it as the Harvard of the diamond business. Okay. It's
All right.
an educational company or organization that teaches the industry about diamonds and gemstones. Um, Many courses are offered. Many companies sponsor courses from GIA, but they are very, very involved in teaching the trade on the nuances of diamond grading, gemstones and gemstone grading, gem identification, understanding metallurgy and how to appropriately explain it. Um, but at the same time, I think all of that education is important, but experience doesn't hurt either. So when
Mhm.
you're in a business and you've done it for 15, 20, 30 years, in my case, I'm telling my age, north of 40.
Mhm.
You learn a few things. You learn some of the things that you thought you knew, and you start to understand how to implement what I learned in those classes, in those labs, and how to communicate that effectively to the consumer. Um, and like anything that someone mentioned earlier, how do you stay current? That's constantly moving. But as you get into a store, or you walk into a jewelry store, most people will tend to go where mom and dad recommended for them to go, or where their family has shopped, or
Mhm.
circumstances like that. But obviously, like we do with any business, we've got Yelp, we've got Google, we've got all of those places to check. We're pretty proud. We're about 300 plus 5-star reviews here in Las Vegas on Yelp. Um, Probably a little bit behind the curve on Google, but we're somewhere at about 150 5-star reviews on Google. Um, but at the end of the day, we just try to take care of every client that comes in, and we're happy to teach and educate as much as possible.
Awesome. Great stuff. Great stuff. Guys, last chance. Put in the comments section, question, comment, concern. We have a comment from Connor. Great takes on the mine versus the natural made. So yes, thank you, Dave, for your expertise. I guess we'll leave you one before we put your, the jewelry portion of the show. I guess the last question would be, are there, last tip for someone who's looking for jewelry? What would be a top two tips for a jewelry looker?
Well, number one, I'd say come to DNR House of Diamonds. No, just kidding.
Absolutely.
Um, I think go where you're comfortable. That's really the bottom line. And I would do a little due diligence. I tease guys all the time when they come in because they think they're going to get somebody trying to sell them something. And most of the
Mm-hmm.
time, I ask them, "What do you know? What do you know about diamonds? Let me educate you a little bit. Let me give you some
Mm-hmm.
information." I like to say it this way: let me teach you how to speak my language, and then you
Mm-hmm.
tell me what's important to you. And so I think you go where you're comfortable, go where you feel like you have a good referral from someone, and that may not be DNR. That could be, there's lots of great jewelry companies in the United States, lots of great jewelers here in Las Vegas. We know we compete against them every day.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're dealing with someone that truly has your interest at heart and they're not just trying to sell something, I think in this day and age, we're all pretty savvy. We can tell that. We can really feel it when we're working with someone. So I think that's the big thing. Make sure you feel like you're with someone that has your interest at heart.
Great stuff. So, guys, if you have a question and you want to reach out to Dave, maybe do a Zoom call with him, he can reach people across the world and deal with you and help you on your diamond journey. Definitely check him out at DNR House of Diamonds on Instagram. So Dave, let's get to know you a little personally while we wrap up the show
Okay.
here. Like I said, we're
Yep.
live, so people can put the final questions in the comments. But uh, let's get to know you a little bit. What is one thing that, besides the jewelry business, that someone wouldn't know about you? What's one thing that we wouldn't expect to know
Well,
from
you,
Dave?
you probably can do a little research and figure it out. But I'm happily married to my beautiful bride, Marcia. She is my high school sweetheart, and
Mm-hmm.
we've been married roughly 43 years this May. We have two beautiful children back in Kentucky. Grew up in the Midwest. I'm an Indy 500 fan, IndyCar fan, car enthusiast. My grandfather started a Chevrolet dealership in Morristown, Indiana, years and years ago. So we're from a family of entrepreneurs. We have four beautiful grandchildren, and we've lived a very blessed life. Let me put it that way. We're very lucky,
Awesome.
and we have those good Midwestern roots, I guess is the way I'd like to say it. I did want to say one more thing. For anyone out there, and I know we're talking to the nation right now, not just Las Vegas, we do a lot of out of state business. So if you're in New York, or if you're in San Diego, or you're in Portland, it doesn't matter where you are, we do Zoom appointments, and you can book Zoom appointments on our website, which is easy. You see our but it's dnrdiamonds.com. Pretty simple, DANDR. You can't use an ampersand in an email. But dnrdiamonds.com. And we would love to help anyone out there that has an interest.
Awesome. Great stuff. And I'm putting that up right there for everybody, dnrdiamonds.com. Or if it's easy too, the world's on Instagram as well. And that's DNR House of Diamonds. So either one of those two locations, you can reach out, Dave. And like he said, across the nation, across the world, he can deal with you and help you on your diamond journey. Now, Dave, there's something I didn't tell you that we do on the show.
Okay.
Are you ready for this? This is the surprise. The surprise speed round. Are you ready for the surprise speed round? So, long story short, I'm going to rattle off some quick questions at you. First thing that comes to mind, nothing crazy. I'm sure you'll make it through with flying colors. Are you ready for the speed round, Dave?
Let's go. Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Let it rip, Pat. I don't hear anything yet, Pat. Technical difficulties. Here we go. Speed round. There we go. All right, Dave. Favorite color?
Yellow.
Awesome. Favorite food?
Spaghetti.
Nice. Favorite snack?
Fritos.
Favorite TV show?
Oh, this is an oldie. Hill Street Blues.
All right. Good stuff. Now, give us your best concert and your first concert.
First concert was Barry Manilow at Concord Pavilion in California. And most recent was probably James Taylor here in Las Vegas.
Awesome. Favorite hobby that has nothing to do with your business?
I'm a pretty avid golfer, so I do love golf, and I love cars. So both are my passion.
Awesome. Favorite car?
I have a Camaro 2SS 2017 50th anniversary. It's one of my few toys. I'm pretty conservative in that regard, but yeah, I do have that.
Awesome. Favorite sport?
Big football fan, professional as well as college. Notre Dame fan, college, and we're season ticket holders for the Raiders. But I have to say my heart still lies in San Francisco, where Joe Montana went when he left Notre Dame. So we root for both. Yeah.
All right. If you had to pick one, you got to pick one. Who's going to the Super Bowl, Raiders or San Francisco? Which one you want in the Super Bowl?
I'll take Purdy in San Francisco this year.
All right. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Favorite movie?
I really love, probably my favorite. Trying to pick. I'm a big movie buff, so that's a tough question.
You could do top five. I'm a big movie buff too. Let's see if our top fives align.
Well, I like Ordinary People, which is an older one, very, very serious drama. I like Braveheart. I think that's a great epic. I like Gladiator.
That's good.
Troy. All of those big epics, I think, are pretty amazing. Yeah.
Yep. Gladiator is one of my favorite movies. Absolutely.
Yep.
Great stuff. You survived the speed round, Dave. Congratulations.
Wow. Okay,
we made it through.
Good. Well, I hope it was informative to everybody. I enjoyed spending the time.
Absolutely. And we very much appreciate it. And if you're ever interested, we are trying to do more and more of these value added live streams. So we got to know you very well today, and we would love to have you on the future. Maybe go in a little bit more deeper dive. Maybe have a topic and uncover some things. So definitely keep an eye out for that. I'm sure Dave would love to join us again. But thank you so much for your time, Dave. Any questions, comments, concerns for us?
No, I just think to all the people that are watching, all the LeTip members out there, just know that every day is a new opportunity. Keep the fight, keep going. Business will grow, things will happen, and lean on the other members in your chapter. We're all trying to help each other, and never doubt that there isn't someone in that group that wants to lend a helpful hand.
Awesome. Great stuff. So, guys, remember, check your emails for the communicator. You can see the full article of Dave from House of Diamonds, DNR House of Diamonds, excuse me.
Yeah.
DNR House of Diamonds. And then there is his website and his Instagram. So there's multiple ways to get a hold of him. He has a wealth of knowledge, and he's there for all of us as a resource to get some help and understand the industry. So, Dave, thank you so much for joining us today.
It was a pleasure, Doug. Thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it. Take care, everybody.
Thank you. Awesome. And thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time on LeTip Live.